You open the software for the first time, and you are met with a black void. Cryptic ribbons of tools stack across the top, a dense grid stretches into infinity, and at the bottom, a command line blinks, waiting for inputs you don't know how to give. Faced with this interface, sitting down with a simple pencil and paper suddenly feels vastly superior. Before computers, producing a single set of blueprints meant dozens of draftsmen bent over massive physical tables, erasing and redrawing every iteration by hand. Today, the architecture, engineering, and construction industry runs entirely on digital accuracy. If you want to build anything in the modern world, you have to speak CAD. Getting there takes a specific sequence of breakthroughs. We are going to trace the exact timeline from a confused beginner on day 1 to a flow state professional on day 23. The challenge isn't learning a new way to draw. It's learning to treat every line as a precise mathematical instruction for a machine. In AutoCAD, a line represents a specific set of mathematical data points mapped onto an infinite Cartesian grid. Dragging a mouse freehand introduces microscopic errors that quickly compound into structural failures. Every vertex must snap exactly to an X and Y coordinate. Hunting for buttons breaks your focus. Instead, you interact through the command window. You hit L for line, press Enter, and type your coordinates directly. To speed this process up, you activate Dynamic Input, or DYNE mode. This detaches the command prompts and measurement data from the bottom of the screen and anchors them directly to your cursor. Then you apply object snaps. These force your geometry to connect magnetically at exact endpoints and intersections, ensuring the perimeter of your design is airtight. By day 10, the process shifts. The drawing becomes a collection of geometric certainties, where every endpoint and intersection is mathematically verified. As a floor plan grows, it accumulates thousands of overlapping lines. Visually and technically, the file becomes impossible to manage. You solve this by separating the geometry into layers. You assign the structural walls to one plane, the plumbing to another, and the electrical to a third. Next comes the concept of blocks. Instead of drawing the same door 50 individual times, you group those specific lines together and save them as a single reusable asset. Combine those blocks with tools like arrays, and you can instantly duplicate an element across a massive grid in seconds, eliminating repetitive manual work entirely. Passing the day 12 threshold requires this shift toward automation. A professional doesn't draw the same thing twice. They build systems that draw for them. Flat 2D plans have a ceiling. They cannot definitively prove physical clearances or simulate real-world mass. To fix this, you alter your viewport, pulling the camera down and away to reveal the Z-axis. You step into a three-dimensional workspace. Using the Extrude command, you grab your flat 2D shapes and pull them upward, instantly generating solid cylinders, boxes, and walls. This introduces immense computational weight. Calculating hundreds of 3D meshes, tracking surface continuity, and rendering shadows taxes your hardware heavily. By day 20, the workspace functions as a virtual prototype, where the computational cost of every mesh and surface defines the limits of the design. Now you reach day 23. You have built a flawless, complex 3D model. But you cannot hand a spinning digital file to a concrete crew on a muddy job site. You have to understand the distinction between model space, where you build geometry, and paper space, where you present it. You use layouts and viewports to isolate specific angles of your 3D data, flattening it out and layering annotations to generate printable, dimensioned 2D blueprints. For massive jobs, you rely on external references, or XREFs. This allows dozens of engineers to link their individual files into one master project, working simultaneously without overwriting each other's data. This entire digital process ultimately feeds back into physical reality, placing explicit instructions into the hands of human decision-makers. The end result of all those typed commands, layer systems, and extruded polygons is a physical, monumental structure. Reaching day 23 means the digital file and the physical job site are finally in sync. You are producing the exact set of instructions required to turn a series of coordinates into a permanent structure.